In this edition, hotel tax breaks law being readied, Barbados prepares to abolish the mandatory death penalty, and West Indies score a spanking win in the World T20. Welcome to Nation News for Tuesday, March the 25th, 2014.
At Courts, every day we bring affordability, convenience, innovation, and style to over 1 million customers in 11 countries. From homes to communities, we are proud to make a difference in the lives of many across the region. Courts, bringing value home.
Government is preparing legislation on concessions to the hotel and hospitality industry, which has been pushing for tax breaks in light of the contentious Sandoz deal. Chief Executive Officer of Barbados Tourism Investment Inc., Stuart Lane, said the agency will meet the Chief Parliamentary Council on the legislation within weeks. The proposed amendments to the Tourism Development Act will include duty-free concessions on food and beverages. Patricia Alfonso Das of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association says the association will have to sign an agreement that will be of benefit to service providers in other sectors.
The BHDA has been asked to sign a Memorandum of Understanding with the Barbados Manufacturing Association and the Barbados Agricultural Society, requiring its members to first seek to purchase needed items locally prior to any decision to import. The MOU has been drafted and the BHDA has provided its written agreement in principle to the requirement.
Tourism officials are putting together a mission to Trinidad and Tobago after expressing alarm at a big drop, more than 20% actually, in arrivals from the two-island nation for the first 2 months of the year. Trinidad and Tobago is the biggest Caribbean market for Barbados. The delegation, which is due to fly out to Port of Spain in May, will aim to increase numbers for cropover and the slow months from September to November. In a note to travel agents and hoteliers, a senior executive of the Barbados Tourism Authority said this country was facing increasing competition in the Trinidad and Tobago market. She said the mission should carry incentive packages to entice more Trinidadians to Barbados. Barbados is closer to abolishing the mandatory death penalty in order to meet its obligations under international law. 6 years ago, the country gave an undertaking to the Inter-American Court of Human Rights to remove the requirement for judges to impose hanging for all murder cases. Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite said the amending legislation should be taken to Parliament by the end of the next month. The death penalty has not been carried out in Barbados since 1984. Mr. Brathwaite was speaking at a workshop for teenage boys where he announced that government wanted to build a center for young non-criminal offenders instead of sending all juvenile delinquents to the government industrial school. An ambulance and a car collided in Cullinan Rock, bringing lunchtime traffic in the busy area to a halt. The accident occurred around 12:30. The front bumper of the ambulance was damaged and the driver's side of the car was smashed in. Police were on the scene to direct traffic. Next on Nation News, commentary with Carl Martindale, who has advised on listening to the message before shooting the messenger.
Sometimes the gravity of the message is lost either through delivery or the messenger. Such was the case last week when Minister of Education Ronald Jones urged Barbadians to start having more children. This elicited a backlash that continued into this week, with the majority stating that it was madness to have children in light of the recent government layoffs. But the cold, hard fact is that Barbados is an aging population. You only have to turn on your television or read the paper to see we have a centenarian nearly every week, sometimes more than one. On average, Barbadian women are having just one child. Our replacement rate, the rate needed to sustain the population, is 2 children per woman, which means we would be facing serious problems later on with caring for the elderly. Pensions, national insurance payments, and economic growth. Make sure you get the message. Don't shoot the messenger.
In the Caribbean, prosecutors in a sensational murder trial in Trinidad and Tobago have given a horrific account of the murder of a businesswoman. State lawyers allege that Vindra Naipal Coolman might have been still alive when killers dismembered her body with an electric saw. The High Court heard claims that although her body parts had been placed in 4 garbage bags and disposed of, the men involved had still been making ransom demands. Ms. Naipal Coolman was abducted on December 19, 2006 and is alleged to have been killed 9 days later. 12 men have been charged for her murder. In sport, West Indies got their World 2020 campaign back on track with a commanding 73-run win over host Bangladesh, who were bowled out for just 98. The reigning champions suffered a heavy defeat against India in their opening match, while Bangladesh only just made the Super 10s after tasting a surprise defeat to Hong Kong in their last qualifier. Dwayne Smith smacked 72 and Chris Gayle hit a runner ball 48 as the West Indies made 171 for 7. They lost 4 wickets, 3 going to Al Amin Hossain in an eventful last over of the 20. Samuel Badri took 4 wickets and Krishma Santoki 3 for West Indies, who next play Australia on Friday. Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton will make motorsport history in Barbados when he drives his Mercedes-AMG Petronas at Bushy Park in May. Fans will get the thrill of their lives on May 17th and 18th when the Top Gear Festival comes off. Hamilton is one of the main drawing cards. Hosts Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond will oversee several stunts over the course of the 2 days. And finally, this is a new one. Have you ever heard of a selfie addict? A British teenager has been so described after he appeared on television and opened up about being treated for his photo addiction. Danny Bowman said he took 200 photos of himself each day, dropped out of school, didn't leave his house for 6 months, and lost 2 stone trying to take the perfect snap. In the process, nearly ruining his life. He started posting selfies to Facebook at the age of 15, but found his addiction spiraling out of control after his aspirations of being a male model were dashed by rejection at a casting session in 2011. It was the beginning of a 2-year addiction for the 19-year-old that culminated in a suicide attempt. There's a lesson there somewhere. That's Nation News for Tuesday.